Hello friends, it's Candence and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing some ear curations. Now, I haven't actually ever done this before, so I've never actually sat down with a naked ear or way closer to naked than my ears are to curate an ear. Basically, I've asked you guys a few times now to send me some pictures of your ears on Instagram in a DM, and I've been waiting to get enough to make a video on it, and I finally got two people to send me pictures of their ears. Well, one person sent me one ear and then another person sent me two ears, so we're gonna do those 3 ears today. So if you're interested in seeing how I'm gonna come up with some ear curations from a couple people's ears, then just keep on watching. And if nothing else, maybe you could get some ideas for your own ears, or just pick my brain a little bit. If you are stuck with your own ears and you like how this video goes, hopefully I'll get better the more I do it. I'd like to keep doing this and keep curating. And if you have any special requests for types of jewelry, like whether you want gold or titanium or specific colors, it would be hard to get the specific colors because I'm just doing images from the website. So it's not like I'm able to custom order jewelry to get a nice photo to then paste the photo onto your ear. But for these ones, it seemed like the people already had some gold or goldish colored jewelry, so I just kind of went with the gold. If you would like me to curate your ear with not gold, you could just specify. Basically, I'm rambling on and on. And the very last thing I'm going to say before I go ahead and hop into it is whether or not I choose something gold or slightly out of your budget. For these videos, I kind of just want to select piercings I think would look good and basically a shape of jewelry. So instead of a solid gold panera, I don't know how to pronounce that. You're gonna notice I can't pronounce anything right. Instead of a solid gold panera, which is what I may choose for you, if you can't afford that, or if you want something a little bit less expensive, you could perhaps substitute that with the same piercing, but a titanium sort of shaped long thing. You know what I mean? So this is sort of an idea for what piercings to get next, not necessarily exactly the jewelry I put in them, if you know what I mean. And maybe if you're stuck in a rut with your ears or something like that, maybe seeing my perspective on what I might do could just give you some ideas on what you might want to do, if that makes sense. I'm just rambling on and on. Basically, it's not that big of a deal. You can get whatever jewelry you want. These are just my ideas. Okay, I've said it. How many times can I say it? Okay, so let's just get started. So this is the first person to send me their ear. So this was what I had to work with. It looks like a very nice, I really love the doth jewelry here. I can't tell if these are titanium. It looks like they might be anodized titanium or something, but it looks like there's kind of a goldish color. It's hard to tell in the photo, but I can definitely tell the balls on the top are gold, so that's why I was gold. So I just went with gold, but it definitely doesn't have to be gold. I just chose specific ideas mostly. So I went from this plain ear, and then I thought maybe a tragus would look good. So I drew that in there. Now I was kind of stuck between a forward helix and a tragus, but I'm not sure if you have the anatomy for a forward helix, so that's the only thing I'm having a little bit of a hesitation towards, because obviously I can't check anatomy over the internet. But I think a tragus would look good if you can't get the forward helix. So that's why I'm just sticking with the easy to get. You'll probably be fine getting this. But if not that, I also took a screenshot to give an example of the forward helix. So we'll see that in the future. So after that, I added this low helix kind of flat, it's a mid helix sort of. And I sort of added a triangle shape just because the shape of the ear sort of makes a little V there, and I thought it looked nice and flat there, and I thought something to sort of complement that angle might look really nice, so I made a little triangle shape there. And then the next thing I thought would look really cool is a nice big flat thing. Honestly, if I was just getting one of these piercings, I would probably get that big flat piercing to get some really cool jewelry that goes really nicely with the doff. Yeah, I would definitely get the flat first because I think it would look the coolest. Like if you're only getting one piercing, I think that would be like the best statement piece. A really nice big circular flat piercing, because the ear does look pretty flat. It's not like really wavy or curvy or anything. And honestly, that would either be a flat or a faux rook, depending on if you may want a forward helix piercing and all that jazz. But somewhere in that area, I think it could really hold a nice size, very beautiful piece of jewelry. So after that, I decided to go a little bit crazy with what you already have. I was a little bit stumped with these helix piercings. I'm sure the positioning of them, you probably already have some sort of intentions with them, but I figured I'd just add it into my curation. So I figured maybe we could, if we do a flat piercing, aligning with them properly, perhaps it could be made into sort of an industrial, like a 3-point industrial. So there would be straight bars going out through those piercings once they're healed, like properly all the way. And then maybe some crown ends or spike ends or something like that. And I think that would really, really go good with the ear altogether. And then I think with this setup, it looks a little bit top heavy, so maybe a lobe piercing, but I didn't draw that in. But we'll go into the actual jewelry I picked out. Okay, so going from the plain ear, we're gonna go into the tragus piercings. For the tragus here, I picked this little 3-leaf thing. Let's see what its name is. It is called the Sprout Press Fit End in Gold from Maya Jewelry. So it doesn't have to be exactly this, but I thought this might be nice and dainty enough. It could go good in the tragus or the forward helix. I was thinking maybe more of a lower forward helix, if anatomy would allow. So the next thing up, I added a lobe piercing. I just felt like I wanted to do that in the first place. So I think this piece of jewelry is called the Amulet. I'm not sure. It's from Quetzali. I'm so bad at pronouncing things. But I really wanted to get the screenshot in black, but it was just rotating through the colors and I accidentally got it in the turquoise color. So that was my bad. I just thought this amulet went really well with the doff piercing. I was kind of vibing off of that like style of like the circles and the beads and stuff, and I don't know if this is the right choice for a lobe. Just like something kind of big to balance out the top area. The next thing I did was I colored it black because I didn't want to go back to the website because that just seemed like a lot of work. So I made a little black gem instead of the blue. But anyway, let's go on to the next piece of jewelry I added in. And it is this, how many beads is that? It's got 9 beads. And it is this little diamond piece. So this is the Gita. It's spelled Gita, and this is also from Quetzali. Dang, I gotta know how to pronounce things. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm sorry, and let me know how you properly pronounce the names. But this is the Gita end, and I also had another thing in mind for it potentially, but I don't remember what the name of this was. Just something sort of like triangular to go into that V, I thought would be really pretty. So that's why I chose this to fit into that space, and I really think it really complements that shape pretty well. The next thing I decided to pick out was the Paloma flower from BVLA. Now I wanted something that would be really big, and I know if anyone would be able to turn it into an industrial, it would be BVLA, so that's sort of why I gravitated towards BVLA. I just love BVLA. Like, what can I say? I'm a sucker for jewelry. I thought this piece would look really good to potentially connect to an industrial like I was talking about, or as a standalone flat piercing. If you can see in this picture, I also moved it forward a little bit if you wanted to see how it would look as more of a faux rook instead of an industrial, if you wanted to keep the piercing separate. But I just thought that would be really pretty. That's what I was talking about with a nice big statement piece to really like liven up the ear and take up all that flat area and just be a really nice big statement. I thought that would look so awesome. So you got that sneak peek of these king ends from Anatometal. I thought they would look really good to like be a crown on top of the ear. That's really my aesthetic. That's sort of what I want to do at the top of this ear. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, but I do have a king and a queen end, and I would really like to have it in a similar position to this, like a little vertical helix thing going on. So I was kind of, you know, taking my style and putting it into it. I'm not sure if the intention for these piercings are like to put spikes on the top or something like that, or to just leave them as bars, or to put hoops in it. So I just did whatever the heck I wanted. I don't know. It just looks freaking rad as heck to have spikes, but also gems, but also a crown. Like, that is so pretty to me. I thought the points from the spikes would also sort of go really well with that diamond piece, or like if you got a triangular piece, I think it would really like mix the shapes all together and everything would be a little bit cohesive. And I know it looks a little disjointed with my little mock-up because all the gold colors look different, and the picture, the exposures are different on the picture, the lighting's different in the picture, so it's kind of hard to see it all together, but this is kind of the idea I came up with. You could even add a high lobe somewhere in between that mid helix type of piercing and the first lobe type of piercing, like directly in the middle there, and I think that could really finish off and balance out the ear really well. I could just keep adding more and more piercings, so that's my problem. So that's that ear. Hopefully I really cover that well. So this is the next ear I had to work with, and I really love the anatomy. It's super unique to have that like flap of the top of the helix come down kind of flat and cover a lot. So I really wanted to work with that. I'll show you my plan. So the first thing I wanted to do was add a nice big something to the top there. Well, I guess that would be a helix piercing, but nice big anything, any sort of big and a little bit long. Oh my god, that sounds inappropriate. And then coming off that, I thought it might be cute to have chains draping from behind to connect to that helix piercing that is already existing. And then I figured we could just move that really big piercing from the helix down to a second lobe piercing, just because I thought it was a little bit big. It is hanging off the ear up there, and you know, it's just not my style. If you like it, you can keep it, absolutely. But I figured we would change it up to be my style since I'm the one curating it. I just figured I would move that down to the second lobe to take up that big space down there, and then we could put something else in the top. So what I did was, first I moved that to the second lobe, and I'm gonna erase it from the top. So I tried my best to obliterate this piece of jewelry from the top helix. Since we're just moving it down, I figured you wouldn't just buy a second of the same thing unless you want to. Then I figured I'd go ahead and add the Desiree seam ring to the helix. Just any sort of ring I think would look good, or any sort of small end I think would look really good and could work with the chain. And the chain could either go on the front or wrap around and loop to the back. It depends on the look you want to go for. Then I got this lilac cab from Aris Jewelry, and I wasn't really particular with this piece. I just saw it and I thought it was really pretty and would look good on top, but it could be any like sort of bigger Panera, I'm just gonna call it Panera. It could be any like long piece of jewelry like that, something similar to sort of like be a big statement piece right on the top of that ear, right on that helix, I think would look really good. After that Aris piece in the helix, I decided to add this double box chain from Buddha Jewelry Organics. Wow, I can't pronounce things. Now this one was kind of hard to get something because, you know, things aren't going to drape exactly the same way if it's not on the exact position, but I kind of just added the chain sort of there to give a little gesture of how it might look. And I think that's it for this ear, and I don't know, I think just adding that one piercing would really finish up this ear. If you wanted more, I could definitely add more. I'm just trying to be a little bit like stingy with it. I don't want to add too much because I'm known for going overboard and I just talk too much too, so I was like, let's keep it to a minimum. That way I can do more. But I think this looks really good, and it doesn't really look minimum. It looks maximum. It looks really pretty and really cohesive. I mean, if all the jewelry matched. I think this is actually rose gold, but I seem to have just stuck with the yellow gold because what else is new? Should have chosen rose gold for that. This person's next ear is pretty similar in shape. It's the same as the last person. And this one also has a lot more piercings. On this ear, I decided maybe this specific piece I have in mind from Pupil Hall would look really good in the doth whenever that heals up for you. And then I also thought, I'm just captivated by that like folding over helix. So while you did that big statement piece on the other ear, you could do the hidden, I think it's called the hidden helix or something. I don't know. It's one of the Maria Tash like made up names for a piercing. It's literally just like a piercing. It's just a helix piercing that's like a draping chandelier coming from behind your helix flap. I figured since you have a sort of very defined ridge on both ears that we could utilize that in both curations. So I think I would change up the doth to be really a lot daintier. Like this could be your dainty ear maybe. And then that helix could have that draping like hidden helix thing. Beyond that, you probably don't even have to get this from Maria Tash. I'm sure you could go to BVLA or custom order it from pretty much any jewelry company. I would imagine that you could get away with that, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried to order it, so I'm sorry about that if it doesn't work out, if you end up having to buy Maria Tash if you really want this look. So the piece of jewelry for the doth, I thought the perfect thing for it would be the interiority clicker from Pupil Hall. Now it doesn't necessarily have to be this. It could be whatever doth jewelry you think is the prettiest, to be honest. I just thought since the rest of your jewelry was a little bit more plain or something, a really nice statement doth piece of jewelry can really pull everything together and make everything look like 10 times fancier than it really is. You know what I mean? So I think it would be worth the investment if you invest in any of your jewelries to do the doth, the focal point, the center stage beauty. So I just edited that in there. I tried my best to get rid of the other one, but it was very difficult because of the shadows and the curves in there. Yeah, I thought it would look really cool. And yes, when you get clickers or any sort of ring like that, if there's any design on it, especially if it's not like completely filling up the whole thing, it will sort of sag down. So I sort of tried to make it sag a little bit. It might sag a little bit more than that. It depends on how it sits in your ear. But I think even with it like hanging, no matter what orientation it ends up, I think it would look really pretty in this whole ear. Once I edited that, I'm like, wow, this ear is so freaking gorgeous. I also thought of maybe adding an anti-tragus if you have the anatomy, but I'm not sure if it would clash with the doth piercing. I know I have my anti-tragus on this side and my doth piercing sort of does. If I have anything big on the inside, it will sort of hit it, because doth piercings sort of flap around. But maybe another lobe in the middle there, like something big to fill up that space if you wanted, but that's just a suggestion, not part of the curation, even though the whole curation is a suggestion. Anyway, and then the next thing, to show it in action, even though I got it from someone with really tan skin, so it looks really orange. It's like really dark. But I thought this draping from the helix, especially with the chain on the lower helix and lobe piercing, or whatever piercings those are, I thought that would be a really nice like echo, like from the top to the bottom. That would really frame out everything perfectly so that your doth piercing really stands out and shines, and then you still have really cool and unique piercings on the tops of your ears. And I don't know. Let me know what you think. I really hope you guys liked your curations. Let me know if you want me to redo them, if you thought it sucked. And also let me know in the comments below what you thought. Would you do anything differently? Would you add a lot more? Would you do fewer? Just leave that down in the comments below. Comment down below. Let me know, what did you think of this video? Please, if you have any tips on how I could have perhaps made this more cohesive or more palatable for you, or if you thought the way it's orchestrated was just perfect, just let me know down in the comments below. Would you prefer me to not add jewelry and just add like dots of where to put the piercings? Or you can just specify that in your message, if you send me a DM with your ear and you don't want me to do jewelry suggestions but just piercing suggestions, just let me know. Definitely, if you DM me, specify like what you want specifically. Do you want just one piercing? Do you want your whole ear done? Do you just want your next piercing, your next 2 piercings? If you're only looking to upgrade jewelry and not change any piercings, let me know that as well, because maybe I could just change up existing piercings to brand new jewelry. So we have a lot of options here. Don't be afraid to ask and just be specific and try to get the clearest, best picture of your ear possible. I'm gonna make a separate video on the easiest way to take pictures of your ears. It seems like a really weird topic for a video, but that way anytime I make a video like this, I can just link that in the iCards and you'll be able to go ahead and check it out so you can give me the best pictures of your ears possible. So definitely keep a lookout for that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future videos, and it just really helps me out so I can grow and be happy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you. See you in the next one. Bye. Jeez. Oh, my back hurts. For some reason, I decided to just sit on this little tiny chair with my makeup all done and these lights on me and like draw these instead of doing it ahead of time. Like, what's my problem?